Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Odyssey Recaps, just the Tea edition. Today we are recapping Book 16, titled by Emily Wilson as Father and Son. Alright, gang, sit down, buckle up. I recommend pairing your popcorn with some tissues today because this chapter has a bit of everything: plotting, threats, confrontations, heartbreak, joy. It is a combo box of emotions. So, we start off back at the swineherd's house, with Odysseus still in his disguise as an old beggar man. He and the swineherd Eumaeus are making breakfast when Telemachus rocks up. Surprise! Eumaeus runs out and is crying and hugging him and is as overjoyed as a father would be. But his actual father, Odysseus, has to just stand there in disguise and do his best not to cry at seeing his son for the first time in 20 years. Eumaeus is excited and happy enough for the both of them, though, so it's all good. Telemachus is happy to see his favorite slave and calls him grandpa, which is nice, but he also does, call him a slave a little bit later, so, not great. Telemachus asks Eumaeus, who I will be calling Swine Bro from here on out, how his mom is, if she's remarried while he's been doing his semester at sea, and Swine Bro is like, no, she's still waiting for your dad and just crying all the time. And Telemachus is like, cool, that's what I was hoping for. And then comes and sits down next to his undercover dad. They all eat breakfast together. Then Telemachus is like, hey, slave grandpa, who's this rando at the table? How did you say he get here again? And Swinebro is like, he says he's from Crete. He's been lost and wandering for ages, which, true. But then he says, and I'm not joking, he is all yours, your supplicant, to treat however you desire, which is like, weird way to phrase that, all right? Telemachus is like, oh, this sucks, because I'd love to just, take him home and look after him, but the dude bros in the house are so violent and gross, they probably hurt him. They're psychopaths, and I'm just too little to fight them myself, and mom's already got a lot on her plate, trying to keep them all happy, and not from, breaking out into, all-out warfare. Can he stay here and I'll send him some really nice clothes and food and stuff to help him on his journey. Also a sword. Giving a sword to a stranger is a great idea. I will send one of those as well. Now, undercover dad speaks up and is like, bro, what the heck is happening in your house? Who are all these dude bros? And also, exactly how many of them are there and what are their strengths and weaknesses? And also, would the townspeople be liable to help in a fight against them or nah? Also, do you have any siblings? No reason, but do you? I really wish I was your dad, because if I was, then I'd come home and I'd murder them all myself. But I am not your dad. I am simply a stranger. Telemachus is like, these questions are all totally normal, and I will answer them with no follow-up questions of my own. There's a lot of dude bros. They're all strong. I don't have any siblings. My mom's waiting for my dad. She loves him or whatever, but she's stuck pretending to do courtship to hold everyone off from just attacking, and we're all doing our best, okay? Oh, also, slave grandpa, can you please go tell her I'm alive? She's probably worried or whatever, lol. I'll stay here, and also just don't tell anyone else but her that I'm alive, because they'll come find me and kill me if they know where I am. They're really, really into killing me right now. Slave grandpa is like, can I also tell your biological not slave grandpa? He's not eating or drinking and is just sleeping outside in the dirt since you've been gone. It is real bad. And Telemachus is like, ugh, that is super sad. But no, don't tell him. Instead, tell my mom to tell a slave girl to tell him I don't want anyone getting hurt or tracking me back to you, which is, nice. So swine bro slash slave grandpa is like, bet, and takes off to go tell Penelope that her son's status is currently alive. As soon as he's gone, Athena appears, but is only visible to Odysseus. And she's like, bro, come outside. So he comes outside where no one can see him. And then she's like, I'm going to untransform you so you can go talk to your son and tell him who you are. And you guys can plot some dude bro murder together. And then she pulls out her wand. Yes, she has a wand. A lot of the gods do. And she taps Odysseus on the head and turns him back into his true self. And guys, this next part fills me with such joy. So currently in real life, there's a lot of debate about whether Lupita Nyong'o is a good choice to play Helen of Troy because, OMG, how can we possibly have a black actor in a story of mythology? This argument is stupid for, a ton of reasons, but obviously racism relies heavily on stupidity to, exist. Anyway, Lupita is perfect for Helen. She is a fantastic actress, is completely gorgeous. Also, in the mythology, her dad was Zeus as, a swan, and guys, there are black swans, famously. Also, this is mythology, and none of it is real, but also, black people do exist in real life and have, always existed and longer than white people, and they existed in ancient times too. Sweet Jesus, this is such a stupid debate. Anyway, this next part brings me great joy to report. When Athena transforms Odysseus back into his original form, it's as he became younger, taller, his cheeks filled out, he grew a beard, and he became black-skinned. Guys, canonically, Odysseus is black. Someone call Chiwetel Ejiofor and tell him to replace Matt Damon and refilm the movie stat. Anyway, the next time you encounter a racist talking shit about my beloved Lupita, tell them if they really want authenticity in this movie of mythology, she's not the one that needs a recast. Anyway, Odysseus is restored back to his full glory. He goes back to the house, and Telemachus is like, excuse me? You're a whole different person? Are you a god? And Odysseus is like, no. Why would you think such things? I am your father, that same man you mourn. It is because of me these brutal men are hurting you so badly. And it's like, bro, why would he think such things? You just changed into a whole different person. Also, they don't have photography yet. How is he supposed to know what his dad looked like? He's got maybe at best like etchings or engravings or something. Anyway, and especially after so many years at war and then at various like sex islands, it takes a lot out of you. Like, how is he supposed to look the same even if they could get a photo? Anyway, Odysseus is crying and hugging Telemachus, and Telemachus is like, yeah, I don't believe you, which, like, smart. But Odysseus is like, no, I'm totally your dad. I pinky promise. Athena's the one who gave me a makeover, but no, I am your papa. And then Telemachus finally believes him, and they're both crying and hugging each other and grieving all their time apart and really taking some time for some like surprisingly healthy emotional expression. But eventually, they get back to business. Telemachus is like, so how did you get here exactly? And Odysseus is like, someone lent me a magic boat, but that's not important. What's important is, how do we kill the suitors? Athena says we got to do a murder plot together. So, like, how many exactly are we facing? And Telemachus tells them, and guys, there are 118 dude bros at the castle. 118, and that's like suitors plus some of their like hangers on and like thugs. But still, 118 people. I mean, major props to Penelope. She's been fending off a small army. She is such a badass. But yeah, Telemachus is like, we cannot fight them, just the two of us. Do you have any friends to help? And Odysseus is like, only Zeus and Athena. And tells Telemachus to go home, and then he's going to turn himself back into an old man and get Swinebro to take him to the castle, where he's going to just like let the suitors torture him for a bit. And he tells Telemachus that he cannot intervene to help him no matter what. All he can do is tell the Dubro suitors to like stop torturing him, but they won't do it, and he's just gonna have to like just watch it happen. And then at some point, Athena will nudge Odysseus' heart, and he'll give Telemachus the nod. And then Telemachus will go and hide all the weapons in the house, only keeping out a few for himself and Odysseus to use. And then the slaughtering begins. Odysseus says they need to do this all in like total secrecy because he needs time to secretly test Penelope and all the other women in the house, and then maybe the men too. Like, can someone please give this poor woman a break? She is an absolute boss and everyone keeps doubting her. Like, for the love of Artemis, leave this woman alone. Anyway, Telemachus is like, no way, it'll take way too much time to test all the men, and they're probably fine. We can test them later if Zeus tells you to, but the women definitely have to be tested like ASAP, like do that for sure. And it's like, okay, thanks, I guess. Like, double standard much? Anyway, thankfully, we cut back to the palace at that point because, like, ew. Anyway, Penelope is told that Telemachus is alive, and she's super happy, but the Dubro suitors are pissed. They're like, ugh, why won't this kid just die? The gods must be protecting him. We need to make a better plan. This kid has got to go, and fast, because if he tells any of the townspeople we're trying to murder him, they may turn on us too, and that'll suck. I can't go back to prison, guys. So they talk about how to murder him and how to share up all of the wealth between them and just like leave Penelope in the house to like whatever man ends up marrying her, but they're gonna like just take all the wealth for themselves. But then one of them is like, guys, if we're not down to do a murder, then we should all just like let him live and go home and court Penelope from afar so we don't waste his wealth anymore. Which, like, why wouldn't you just do that instead of murdering him? But no, they want the whole enchilada, so they sort of like discuss whether or not they should murder him and what they think they want, like the gods want them to do. But in the middle of this, Penelope comes down and she just unleashes on the main dude bro, Antinous. Like, she goes off and she's like, you punk ass little bitch boy, stop trying to kill my son, you are such an embarrassment. And then she reminds him super publicly how his dad was like dabbling in piracy, and all the sounds people wanted to kill him for, like, you know, piracy, and Odysseus saved his life, and now he's trying to like disrespect the very man he owes his father's life to by like killing his son, destroying his home, trying to marry his wife. She tells him that he has to stop, and he has to make all the other suitors stop too. And it's like, oh, I just love this woman. I want a standalone movie just about her. She is the best. Anyway, different Dubro answers. And it's like, OMG, no, you've got it all wrong. We would never kill Telemachus. Odysseus was like a dad to me. I would never hurt his son. I pinky promise. None of us will ever hurt him, ever. Cross my heart. But then the narrator of the poem is like, bitch boy is a liar. He's planning to kill him right now. Penelope clearly knows this too because she just leaves and goes upstairs to cry some more, knowing that she can't really do much more to dissuade them. Meanwhile, night is falling, and Odysseus has been turned back into an elderly beggar, and he and Telemachus are cozily cooking and plotting mass murder together. Swinebrew comes home and tells them that tells them that he told Penelope and that Telemachus is back, and that he thinks all the suitors are also back from their failed ambush. Telemachus and disguised Odysseus share a secret little smile, and then they all eat dinner and go to bed, making sure they get plenty of sleep so they can be in peak stabbing condition. And that's where we end the chapter. Join us next time for some more deception and also, unfortunately, some sadness. Keep those tissues handy, guys, for the next chapter. Anyway, we will see you there.